Today we're being joined by potential AFLW draftee Piper Window. Piper, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Now, just tell us a bit about yourself. Obviously, what got you into footy, and what type of player you are.
Yeah, so just recently turned 18 years old and just finished school. So kind of now just, all my focus is on footy, which is nice. So I play at Glenelg Football Club, been in the state team for a couple of years and got into the Australian team as well, which was a super cool experience. But I play mainly in the midfield and a little bit up forward. So, yeah, it's pretty good. Love playing in the midfield and like going up forward and kicking a few goals every now and then. But yeah, pretty much just I have a few brothers, so 3 brothers, and they all play footy. So I guess I kind of got into footy through them. I always grew up playing netball, but yeah, kind of just decided to switch and try it out. And then ever since the first game, just always loved it. So then really just focused on that, and kind of got me here, which very happy about. So it's been good.
It's good. So you obviously being talked about being a potential top number 1 draft pick. How's that feeling for you? How do you take being talked about so highly? And is there any added pressure being touted as a top draft pick compared to, say, a later pick?
I mean, I guess there is, but I kind of just, I just try not let it get to me too much, and I just, stay level with myself. Hasn't nothing set yet. That's just people's opinions and what's happening. Yeah. So just kind of keep playing my game, doing my thing, preparing how I want to prepare, and still just got to wait till the draft and wait and see, anything happen on the night. So definitely, it's definitely a good insight, I guess, to see where I am, somewhat sitting, but I'm also just not getting ahead of myself and just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But it's pretty cool to see that, that's where people think I am, but still just got to wait and see on the night.
So have you nominated for the SA draft or the national draft?
I nominated yesterday, and I nominated for the SA draft. So it was quite a decision. I was, tossing and turning, being like, I don't know what to go for. But I think I'll just the SA draft, so either Port or Crows, just so I can stay here, just especially while I'm still quite young and just trying to get into the system. But had a few interviews with interstate clubs, but definitely maybe in the future I might see if anything changes, and so options still open, but just not quite at the moment for an interstate club.
That's fair. That's a fair choice too. I mean, like you said, it's a good reason too to start off and then go from there and see how things are going and everything like that. Now, your SA teammate Lauren Young obviously officially joined the Power yesterday. How excited are you for her to go to the Power?
Oh yeah, it was so exciting. I knew she was going to be one of those like top priority picks. And then to just social media, it wasn't a surprise, but it was just so amazing. And I know she loves Port and everything, so I'm sure she'll excel there, and she'll have so much fun. And she's just such an amazing player and so humble. So it's just it's going to be really great to see her play there, and she'll do so well. But it's so good to be able to see her go early and just, get in there straight away.
So you mentioned earlier too about playing for the Australian team. How was that opportunity like to play with some of the best players in this year's draft?
It was really cool. I just remember getting that first original email saying that I've been selected into the academy, and I just remember I was like, oh my God, didn't really know this was a thing, to be honest. Still do it all, but it was so cool. And then all the camps we got to do and traveling, and with all the girls that are the top picks from Australia, it was so good to train with them and learn off of them and have all the coaches that are so highly experienced. It was just such an amazing experience, and I learned so much. And I think I learned so much as a player, and being able to be in that high level environment just really helped. And it was such a great insight into what the high level is like. And then to be able to play that game, even though we lost by a few points, it was such a good game, and everyone just got around each other. The team, we just worked so well together, and everyone had fun. And there was no competition between each other. We were just there to play a team sport. And I think it was a great game, and everyone had so much fun, and we'd definitely do it again if we could. But it was just such a great experience.
Obviously, you played with some SA teammates in that game, but what was it like playing with some of the opposite or the other state players and the players that you come up against in the state championship as well? But how was it to play with some of them to kind of learn a little bit of how they play as well, off or on field as well?
Yeah, it was interesting to see, like what the other midfields were like from other states. The midfields from
Mm,
Queensland, Western Australia, or just all those other states to see
mm,
how like what their game plan is and how they like to go about the game and all their preparation and all that
mm,
kind of like when we were in the mid working on our like taps and all that, they were they just had so many great ideas, and everyone just like
mm,
worked together and everyone just learned off each other, and it was just so cool to see what their like insights were and everything they had to say. So definitely learned so
mm,
much, and everyone just went about it differently, but in the end we all worked, like we just kind of came together and got just played well together and had
mm.
fun.
Was there any particular player in that Australian Championships team that struck your interest to go, gee, they're actually better than I thought they were for another club in particular, or another state player in particular?
um there was probably I don't know, it was kind of just when you went into that camp you kind of just knew
Mm.
that these were the top draft picks, so you kind of just
Yeah,
expected to be at that high level. So it wasn't really a shock when be like, oh wow, they're really good, because that like that's why they're there.
yeah,
um
that's right.
So everyone just was kind of there, and it's like, wow, they're really good, or it's like, oh, like I want to be like them, or I want to help them lift up and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't really a shock or anything. Everyone kind of just went about it and did their own thing, helped others, and
Mm.
gave everyone tips and whatever. So yeah.
That's good. So for South Australia in the under 18 championships, the state v state comp, how was that experience like, and to be the captain of that team?
Yeah, it was so fun. I remember my first season of state, and like I was one of like the bottom age groups, and it was so good to be able to just be in a team of girls like my age and play against all those other states who are like so good. And winning the championships now twice in a row was so good and so fun. And SA's obviously, now you can tell, one of the top states,
Mm.
so really good talent coming through. And to be named captain this year, it was such a privilege and such an honor. And all the other captains in the team, just I think everyone else just kind of stepped up and lifted into that captain role as well. It wasn't just me as captain, even though I had that
Yeah,
label. Everyone else did step up and work well together. So it was such a great experience, and it was really fun, and everyone had a great time. And really cool to be able to captain the team to a championship again. Yeah.
obviously had some decent numbers, averaging about 18 disposals, 4 clearances game in the SA championships, but then also winning a premiership in the Sample. Oh, sorry, winning the Sample W Best and Fairest for Glenelg. How was that like? And how was that night for you when they did the vote count?
Oh god, that night was so nerve wracking. I just remember sitting there, and I invited my mum as my guest, and it was just
Yeah.
sitting there like so nervous. And every time I got a vote, everyone from Glenelg would just like clap and cheer, and I was just
Mm.
sitting there, could no emotions, because I was just so nervous and frozen. And then I remember when it was to the end and we kind of worked out that I'd won. It was such an exciting and thrilling moment, and kind of like it made everyone so proud, and I was so proud of myself. But I just
Yeah.
remember like so nervous, and even going up on stage, like I was so happy, but I was just shaking, and kind of is like I was like, wow, this is really happening. Like I didn't necessarily expect it, and
Mhm.
it was just so amazing.
It's good. So obviously in that competition, you're averaging just over 20 disposals, about 6 clearances a game, 8 tackles a game, and 4 goals as well. What do you say is your biggest weapon in footy, and that is your biggest trait that you pride yourself on and think that's your best weapon?
I think especially playing in the midfield for a couple seasons, I'd say like driving out a contest, just getting that ball and
Mm.
just driving through, just trying to gain those extra meters and get away from the opposition, I guess. And, you know, other things like tackling and speed and overhead marking kind of just all come into play as well. Definitely is one of my strengths. So it's pretty good. And I think coming from that netball background, it all just kind of transitions across well. So it's definitely helpful coming from netball. But it's just I think those are my main strengths, and that's really helped me to get where I am.
if you were to compare yourself to an AFL or AFLW player, who would you say is the type of player that you would compare yourself to? That so people have a bit more an idea.
I mean, I definitely look up to someone like Ebony Marinoff, and like that's the style of footy I want to play. So I know I'm not at her level yet, but that's definitely like how I want to play, and that's how I see myself playing footy. So, every time I think about it, or when I watch her, I'm like, wow, like watching her and getting tips and being like, okay, like maybe I'll try that in a game. And even when she played at Glenelg for a few games, when we won the premiership at Glenelg, you learnt so much off of her, and now just seeing her play, in the Crows still, like she's just so good and she's just so composed, get that ball and get out. So yeah, that's definitely how I want to play.
So we'll backtrack to the talk with clubs. How was the very first meeting with the club in terms of about this draft and everything? And how did you feel going into it? Was it? I'm sure it was nervous. The very first club meeting you had.
Yeah, so I remember the first one I had was with the Crows, and that was pretty early on. That was one of the earliest ones I had, and yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking, like leading into it. But as soon as we were sitting down, it was actually it was quite calm and relaxed, and they were just asking like simple questions, just getting to know me and stuff. So from that, it was kind of like it was a good start to be like, okay, that's that's what they're going to be like. And yeah, a lot of the clubs all had very similar questions, so it's still nerve-wracking a little bit, but also just a lot of the clubs, everyone's so nice, and they just they're just there to have a chat and just getting to know you. So yeah, it's nothing too difficult necessarily. You're just talking about yourself in a way, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, so they're pretty chill, and yeah, definitely all the interstate clubs, it's good to get an insight as to what they have to offer and what they put out for you.
Did you ever have, not necessarily with Adelaide, but did you have any weird recruiting questions or questions you thought, why did they ask me that? Because obviously we hear about it in the men's comp and in the women's comp, all these type of questions like, if you're a car, what car would you be? Who would you take to dinner, dead or alive? Have you had any questions like that?
No, actually we haven't. They've all just been pretty normal, just like what are your weaknesses, what do you look for in a club, all that kind of stuff. So I actually haven't had any ones, but yeah, honestly, if I did get one, it would be a bit stumped. But yeah.
Who's your favourite teammate in the South Australian team or for Glenelg?
Oh well, when Matilda Scholes was playing, she's definitely my favourite. She's one of my best friends. But now it's kind of just her sister Poppy and Violet. So just us three. We're all pretty close. Training last night, went out and got dinner and dessert and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, us three were all pretty close, and obviously we're also proud of Matilda for going to Port as well. But yeah, definitely still with us.
So you mentioned Schultz, so I'll bring her up. Has she given you any advice on how to take this period? Obviously, being in it last year, or season before. So, what advice has she given you in this period?
Actually, not a lot. I think especially because she got picked up kind of mid-season, so she's actually never been into the draft herself. So her situation is a little bit different, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, she's kind of all she's really said is that she loves the team, she loves playing there, and everyone's so good. Coaches are so helpful and all that kind of stuff. And I remember at the start she was pretty nervous and a bit scared, but she said the transition from Glenelg to Port was obviously a little bit more of a step up because it is that top level. But she said she transitioned into it pretty quickly, and the girls got around her and made her feel welcome. So yeah, it's definitely good to know, and it's pretty exciting.
Who's your favourite player to watch in both either the men's and women's competition, and what club do you support?
So I'm actually a Collingwood supporter, but that's kind of more the men's, whereas women's, I kind of just go for my friends, I guess. So
that's fair.
At Port, Crows, wherever, so kind of just support them. But our favourite players, definitely men's would be Scott Pendlebury, I reckon. Nick Dacos is there, but he's not necessarily an OG, so definitely Scott Pendlebury.
That's fair.
Women's would be, like I said, favourite player to watch would be Ebony Marinoff, but then my favourite players, I do really enjoy watching Matilda and Sarah Goodwin and Ella Bogan, just all my friends pretty much from Glenelg, and just seeing them at that top level just really excelling and playing their game. It's really good to watch.
Good. Now, do you recall the goal Danielle Ponta kicked from the centre square all the way at the start of the season?
Yeah, I definitely do remember that. I just remember seeing it all over social media, and I watched it on TV as well.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be able to replicate that moment, or any team that can or thinks they can?
I definitely would not be able to. I wish I could. That would be really cool. But yeah, I definitely don't think I could kick that far. I don't know who would do that. Probably be a couple, but I feel like they would just kind of do it by accident, to be honest.
Yeah, that's totally fair. It was a long way, and that goal itself, although very good, did have a bit of luck to it as well, and a bit of the wind as well.
Yeah.
Mark or goal of the year, which one would you prefer?
Probably mark of the year, to be honest. I think
Any reason?
I think just when you watch mark of the year, it's like, they just they usually like a massive just pack mark. They just like get on top of someone's shoulders. It's just so cool to watch. Goal of the year, it's like, obviously they're great goals, but in the end, like any goal is a great goal, I guess. So yeah, I think I'd probably rather mark of the year, to be honest.
That's fair. Any nicknames you get given at the club, or ones that you like, or some that you don't like?
Not really, actually. I only really get called Pipes or Big Pipes or something. I don't know, but nothing like too strange. It's just kind of version of my name, I guess.
That's good. Any outside of footy interests you got? Any other sports that you like playing? You mentioned some before.
So I'm currently doing surf life saving, so that's kind of sport at the moment. Definitely, it's not as serious, but I find it helps with footy, just sprinting and sand running and all that. And I've always done it, so I really enjoy it. So I just keep doing it when I can, and do a few carnivals and whatever. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
What's the best individual game you feel you've ever played in?
I reckon it would have been last season. The game that I got the Powerade Breakthrough Player. I think it was the first game of the season, or even probably my third game as well. It's just, I got like 29 touches, 3 goals.
Oh, awesome.
That probably would have been one of my best games.
What's the best goal you've ever kicked? Is there any goal in particular that comes to mind? It doesn't have to necessarily be this year. It could be it can be under 11s for a week. Yeah. Is there any particular goal you've got, say, from the boundary line, a long distance goal, a torp goal, a check sign, anything like that?
I think there was one last season where, I don't know, it was a bit of a fluke, where I was kind of in the pocket on the run, and it wasn't too much of an angle, but I was on if I had a mark, I would have kicked it. So I kind of just kicked it on the run and it went through. So I don't know. I think it was a good goal, but it was just maybe a fluke. I'm not sure.
That's fair. Who loves the limelight, the attention, and the camera, and can't just get enough of it when it comes to social media and getting popular, or when they know they kick a goal or at a game they over celebrate or intentionally exaggerate it because they know people are watching or it's on camera?
Oh, I think there would be a lot of girls from our team, to be honest. I know I like a good celebration. I think any girl in my team who kicks a goal has a good celebration. I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even name one. Violet loves a good celebration. I know she does.
Who do you feel is the best player in the AFLW competition? Obviously, because this year, and who do you think would win the BNF this year? Because it's really tight. You got Riddell and Garner, you got Marinoff, you got Kate Hoare, there's Laura Garner. There's so many players. So who do you feel could be someone that could win that award?
Oh, that's a tough question. Probably, definitely up there would probably be, Marinoff or Garner, I reckon. So, yeah, honestly, any of those girls, whoever wins it, such a great player and definitely been watching them. So, yeah, it'd be pretty cool for any of them to win.
Now, this is a hypothetical, but let's say you're in an AFLW club, wherever that is. If you could steal one player from from another club, whoever that would be, who would you steal?
Matilda.
Good question. Well, you might end up playing for maybe, because you said with the SA draft, so I'll have to wait and see there. Who's the toughest opponent you've ever had to match up on in any of the state comps anywhere?
I think probably just playing with Glenelg. I think one of the toughest ones has been Shelby Smith from Centrals. She's always such a tough player, and yeah, definitely being in the midfield against her, it's pretty hard, but it's also good to be able to get that competition. So, yeah, probably someone like her, she's pretty hard to play.
Who would you say some teammates that you've been impressed by, or players that they're a bit underrated and don't get talked about as much in this draft period that you feel that should get a bit more love in this case?
Or I reckon someone like Maddie Freeman. I reckon she's always been like such a consistent player, and she's won like the Glenelg Best and Fairest before, and she's such a consistent player, and she kind of just plays her role really well and goes about it. So I know I'm pretty sure she's been like looked at before, but hasn't quite gotten there. But
yeah. Hopefully that ends up happening. So a few more questions. We appreciate you coming on. Who is your rising star tip for the AFLW this year? Because for me personally, I ended up doing a 3-way tog, so just simply because I couldn't split them. Ella Roberts, Zali Goldsworthy, and Ali Morford. Who would you put in that category to win the rising star this year?
Matilda.
Again, Schultz will be up there too, for sure, and Jazz Fleming as well.
Yeah, no, I'd say Matilda mainly. Well, I mean, obviously she's like one of my closest friends, but I think she has had a good season, and she's been doing so well, and third in the Port Best and Fairest, and best like all that kind of stuff. She's done so well, and all her ruck, and just not even just rucking, but being able to kick a couple of goals and get some tackles. So
kicking 3 goals recently in one game was pretty impressive too, which I'm sure you knew and saw.
Yeah, it was very good.
Final question for you, appreciate coming on. The premiership tip for the AFLW this year, obviously still up from the air. People that would have gone Melbourne and Adelaide may be a bit nervous now tipping them, considering they both lost, but they both get a chance this week to redeem themselves. But who do you feel is the premiership tip this year?
I guess I kind of have to go with home state. So I'll probably, I'd love if Crows could get another one. But in the end, it's always hard, just coming into finals. But it would be great if Crows could get another one under their belt. So I'll definitely be going for them.
Fair enough. All right, Piper, I really appreciate you coming on. All the best in the draft, whether you join the Crows or the Power. Really appreciate you coming on. Good luck in under a month's time now.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
All right,